Hello, I'm Derek Bell, and this is the Harrods McLaren that I'll be driving in the Le Mans 24-hour race in a few weeks' time with Andy Wallace and my son Justin. But first of all, we're here at the Nürburgring for the 5th round of the International GT Championship race. So let's just see how the boys get on this weekend.
We're 10 years on, 5-time Le Mans winner and double world champion Derek Bell. Welcome to Porsche with Stefan Belloff in 1984. Sports cars are here for the first time since 1991. Now for the 5th round of the Karcher Global GT Endurance Championship. McLaren has won the first 4 BPR series races, but both Porsche and Ferrari factories are confident they can beat the British supercars in the 4-hour Enduro on the 4.5-kilometre German Formula One circuit, which is preparing to host the Grand Prix of Europe this October. But there's changes at the ring enforced by the Formula One safety drive. A ridiculously tight chicane has transformed the Vidal S into a feature which drivers have universally condemned. It interrupts the rhythm of the circuit, they say. Today, the track, better known as a sports and touring car circuit. 40 cars arrived in the Eifel Mountains for the race. Porsche, with a more powerful factory engine, for the championship-leading Labra 911 team. They're claiming 550 horsepower. For Bob Warlick, Jean-Pierre Jarier and Christophe Bouchou, the 3 drivers on board. Ferrari is here with new gearboxes after a plague of breakages at Jarama. 2 pole positions at Monza and Jarama have yet to give better than a 3rd place for Anders Olafsson in the number 60 car and Gary Ailes in the 61 Ferrari Club Italia F40 GT Evoluzione. Gulf McLaren, they've taken 3 of those 4 wins, Lindsay Owen-Jones and Pierre-Henri Raffinol having changed their number to try to improve their luck after 3 non-finishes, while Ray Bellum and Maurizio Sala have been the winning combination, despite both of them spinning off in Saturday qualifying after brake imbalance problems. One team which is matching Gulf McLaren's outright pace is Stadler Motorsport. GT2 class winners at Daytona, Jerez and Jarama. Now, Enzo Calderari and Lilian Breiner are looking for their 4th win of 1995. Not only leading the GT2 title chase, they're also 4th overall in the championship.
Ja, wir haben eine wunderbare Saison.
Enzo told us we've had a good season, everything's gone all right until now, we've had no real problems, until here that is. We had a turbo problem in training, the pressure's too low, and we took everything apart yesterday, we could find nothing, Porsche engineers neither. We missed some of the first qualifying trying to find the problem. Lilian had her birthday yesterday, so it'd be a nice present for her if we can win. Well, it'd be a nice present for me too, he said.
Es wäre auch für mich ein schönes Geschenk. Danke.
Lilian, people still are surprised when they see a lady racing a Porsche. Do you have a lot of problem with this?
No, actually now I'm used to it, and people are used that I race too, so it's getting better and better.
But this year's going very well. Daytona was a great start, and now you're getting more and more confident, huh?
Yes, I'm getting used to the car much more, and the car is fabulous, and we're really enjoying to do this kind of racing. We can drive a lot, there are a lot of training, and the races are very, very good racing.
Well, a big surprise at Jarama was the performance of the privateer Ferrari F40, the Pilot Oldix 40 Le Mans of the brothers Ferte and Olivier Thévenin. This car ran against the 2 factory GTEs and led the Spanish race until a controversial incident with McLaren's Maurizio Sala. We took the chance to ask Michel Ferte what was special about his car.
Well,
firstly, he said we have a really competitive team. And secondly, this car was one of the factory cars which was sent to America for the IMSA series back in 1989. It really is very, very good. I think we also have a good driver team which hopefully can match up to the car. We asked if there's a fight with McLaren, not just with McLaren, but with Ferrari Club Italia.
No,
No, he said, no, these are our friends, even the McLaren team.
L'équipe McLaren ou l'équipe Ferrari, nous sommes des gentlemen.
We're all gentlemen, and we want to provide a real spectacle for the public, and especially for television. Okay, we had a problem at Jarama. We were fighting for the lead. Sala had already touched me a couple of times. But when we arrived back down on the main straight, I wanted to go to the left. He put me onto the grass, and there was no room for me to get back onto the track. It's one of those things that sometimes happens.
Je l'ai débordé vers la droite, j'ai vu qu'il allait à la droite, donc je me suis mis à gauche. Et là, j'étais surpris de voir Mauricio qui m'a mis un très très grand coup dans le côté de la voiture, qui m'a projeté donc sur le bas-côté.
Well, Jaguar is back after a brief debut at Monza when the PC Automotive XJ220 gearbox expired early. The team missed Jarama but is now back on schedule with experienced endurance driver Wyn Percy on board alongside Richard Piper. Wyn Percy, a year ago you retired from motorsport, now you're back here at Nürburgring with Jaguar.
We all make mistakes, Mark. Yes, I had the opportunity to go testing at Silverstone last week. I think the team were relatively pleased with what I did. And the invitation to come here was just too good to turn down.
Wyn, you haven't been driving for a while, but of course you're a Jaguar expert from the Le Mans days and driven with Nissan in touring cars. How does this car compare?
The car feels very similar to the cars that we had at Le Mans 93. Yes, I haven't been here before, but it's not really a problem. It's a learning curve. Yesterday, by midday, we were really pleased with our progress, and then we had the unfortunate liner breakage in the engine, which meant an engine coming out from England overnight. So we've missed this morning's session, I'm afraid. Hopefully this afternoon we'll qualify both drivers, Richard Piper and myself, and get a sensible grid position.
Well, this being Nürburgring, Eurosport asked a local hero to take us around the track.
Die Start- und Zielgerade haben wir gerade schon hinter uns gebracht und fahren jetzt in die erste
Well, we go through the start-finish line, he said, from third to fourth gear, then
den dritten Gang und schalten jetzt
through the shell curve. Now we come up to Valvoline corner.
Valvoline-Kurve zu kommen.
This is taken in third.
Die im dritten Gang geht.
And that's
Und jetzt kommt die
followed by the Ford corner.
Eigentlich sehr gut einen Kollegen, wie man hier sieht,
place where we can outbrake rivals.
überholen kann. Und dann den Schwung mitzunehmen.
We head down towards the lowest point of the track, the Dunlop curve.
Das ist die Dunlop-Kehre. Dort muss man stark runterbremsen vom 5., 4., 3.
We're changing down from third to second.
Sauber rauszukommen, wie man
Round the corner, then start changing up again, second to third. Third to fourth, you have to be very precise here to build up speed quickly. I'm accelerating hard for this key part of the track. Then it's hard through Yokohama corner.
Bergauf, wie man sieht. Den Schwung muss man mitnehmen.
And then bit corner, get all the speed we can.
Der Yokohama-Kurve, dann die Rechtskurve, der Bitkurve, auch im dritten Gang.
And we get all the speed we can. Very smooth onto the Hudson back, the back straight. Into fifth gear, 270 kilometers an hour.
Beschleunigen noch ca. 270 Stundenkilometer. Und dann wieder
and now we're braking hard for the Vidal chicane. It's very, very tight. Then into the last corner, this is the right-handed Coca-Cola corner.
Die letzte Kurve der Strecke ist jetzt die Rechtskurve, hier die Cola-Kurve. Und
we're already back onto the straight.
Ich bedanke mich für Ihr Interesse.
Well, thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed our trip. Well, Altenbach's race cam lap was good enough for 12th fastest of the 38 qualifiers, just outside the top 10, which comprised, in 10th, Wolfgang Kaufmann, Bruno Giacomelli for Martini Porsche. 9th fastest, Fabien Giroir and Olivier Griard in the Gicardi McLaren, second time only out. 8th fastest, Andy Wallace and Justin Bell in the Harrods McLaren, also on its second appearance. 7th fastest, a slow Ray Bell and Maurizio Sala for Gulf after those morning spins on Saturday. Wally Conjari and Bouchou in the Labra Porsche, 6th fastest with that new Porsche Power Pack. Fifth fastest goes to Gary Ailes, Massimo Monti and Fabio Mancini in the Ferrari Club Italia F40 GTE, and John Nielsen, Thomas Bischer taking their Monza-winning West McLaren to fourth fastest. Third, almost surprisingly, Pierre-Henri Raffinel and Lindsay Owen-Jones outpacing their sister Gulf car in third. Then brothers Michel and Alain Ferté with Olivier Thévenin taking the Pilote Ferrari 40 Le Mans to second, and that leaves pole position to Anders Olafsson, Luciano Dellanocci in the Ferrari Club car yet again. Anders Olafsson, the third time in 3 races you've taken pole position. This Ferrari must be really good now.
Yeah, as you say, the car is doing a good job for us, and we are working hard to make the car fast, and we think we have a good race car as well, not only in qualifying. So I'm satisfied with it.
In Jarama we saw a great race for Ferrari, but the Ferrari Club Italia cars had gearbox problems. Are these sorted now?
I think we had a fabrication fault in the gears we used at Jarama. Normally we don't have a problem with the transmission. We know it's maybe not strong for 24 hours at the moment, but it should be strong for 6 or 12 hours at least. So we were actually quite surprised ourselves when we got this problem.
Well, this being the fifth race, chance for the school photograph.
Na also Lilian, ich wünsche dir alles Gute zum Geburtstag.
Well, Enzo Calderari said, I'd like to wish Lilian a happy birthday.
Thank you very much, and let's stay on Eurosport, and we see you after the break. Thanks.
Well, you're back with Speedwell. This is Mark Cole looking at Nürburgring, fifth round of the Karcher Global Endurance GT Championship. Looking at the grid, Olafsson we saw, this is Michel Ferté, 2 Ferraris on the front row of the grid. Pierre-Henri Raffinel for Gulf McLaren on row 2, and alongside him, John Nielsen in the West, or is it East, McLaren this weekend. Row 3, Fabio Mancini in the Ferrari Club Italia F40. Alongside him, Christophe Bouchou starting for the first time this year with his 2 teammates in the Labre Porsche. And row 4, a very slow and chastened Ray Bellham after qualifying problems, with Andy Wallace, Derek Bell and Justin Bell alongside. And row 5 of the grid, Olivier Griard starting the beautiful blue Giacardi McLaren. And next to him, Wolfgang Kaufmann, now carrying the Eurosport race cam in the Martini Porsche for the race. Ahead of them, 4 hours of racing on the Nürburgring Grand Prix Strecke, 38 cars, 18 of them running in the 650 horsepower GT1 category, the rest of them in the 450 horsepower GT2 class. Ferrari, McLaren, Porsche, Jaguar and 2 Callaway Corvettes, a cross-section of the world's greatest GT cars. We go on board the Martini Porsche of Wolfgang Kaufmann. He's starting from row 5 of the grid. This is the man who regularly beat Michael Schumacher in the 1990 German Formula 3 Championship. Well, at the start, it's a Ferrari lockout. It's Olafsson from Ferté, and then behind them, Nielsen, Mancini, Bouchou and Raffinel. And already Kaufmann has passed 2 of the McLarens. Well, the 2 Ferraris with something like 700 horsepower on tap, although they're carrying more weight to compensate, start to pull away. Back on board with Kaufmann. Chasing Raffinel there in the Gulf McLaren, but these Ferraris just going further and further away. Car that finished production in 1992, now on top form in 1995. Oh, and Wallace repasses Kaufmann in the Harrods McLaren, so it puts our camera car 1 place back. Raffinel up ahead of him. Pierre-Henri Raffinel and Lindsay Owen-Jones desperate to finish a race in 6th place, with Kaufmann still hanging on there to the Harrods car of Wallace. A great showing this for the Freisinger Porsche. Running its own big boost Porsche engine. Well, Nielsen just keeps the West McLaren into 3rd ahead of Mancini, but it's close now, and Mancini indeed is under pressure from Christophe Bouchou, the 1993 Le Mans winner for Peugeot, and of course this year's Daytona 24-hour winner for Kramer Porsche. Be driving for them again at Le Mans this year, but it's Ferrari, then it's McLaren, then Ferrari, and behind the Porsche, then the first of the Gulf cars, way down by comparison what we've seen earlier this season. They have strategy in mind though, as we'll find out later on. Fabio Mancini doing a great job in the car that Gary Ailes of Britain is sharing with him, so is Massimo Monti. Bouchou really putting pressure on these Ferraris just ahead of them, despite giving away maybe 150 horsepower to the F40s. We're back on board with Kaufmann. The German driver doing a great job here. Running wide over the curbs. As they climb back up the hill, out of the Dunlop curve. Very fast part of the new Nürburgring this. Quick shot of Andy Wallace, and this is the lineup: Ferrari, McLaren, still then Porsche, then McLaren, and then Kaufmann's Porsche behind them. Well, Ferte's Pilot Aldix F40 LM is still running its original Michelotto gearbox from 1989, and unlike the factory Ferraris, had no transmission problems at Jarama, led for the first hour. The IMSA car was rescued from a Swiss museum this year. It's owned by BPR, Stefan Rittel, and the team has not touched the engine or gearbox. They reckon there's 680 horsepower, depending on boost. Well, indeed, Porsche race staff are also here in Nürburgring in full force. They're headed by competitions director Herbert Amferer and former team director Peter Falk. The object of their attention is the new power plant in the back of that Labra Porsche. Finally upgraded to GT1 after running the first 4 races of only GT2 power. There's the car in the middle of the picture. We have a reliable 550 horsepower, not the 600 horsepower everyone talks about. Amferer told us before the race, but this is only the start. So great racing here between 3 different marques. This is what GT racing is all about. Many people saying perhaps now it's becoming a one-mate series for McLaren. They said that last year about Porsche, but of course things change so quickly, and these Ferraris surely are going to be winning. With full factory backing under the orders of Luca de Montemazzolo. A big fight going on all the way around. Look at this. Oh, Monti tries to make a bid to go through on the inside, and Nielsen can't quite do it. So the Ferraris really putting a lot of pressure on now, hoping to get the top 3 places, perhaps even before this lap is out. First car, second car, third there, the West McLaren. Oh, and Monti makes another bid, can't quite do it through this Vidal S chicane. What used to be a flowing fast corner, now really upsetting everybody. Putting a lot more pressure on gearboxes and brakes in this 4-hour enduro here on the new Nürburgring. It snowed here on Wednesday and Thursday, but as you can see, the weather's cleared. Beautiful sunshine now high here in the Eifel Mountains of southern Germany. Riding again with Wolfgang Kaufmann. Oh, and Olivier Griard finally manages to get past Kaufmann's Porsche in the Ducati McLaren. So Kaufmann doing a great job for almost 10 laps, holding off that French F1 GTR. So after 10 laps, Olafsson still leading the field, as he did at Jarama, as he did at Monza. Kaufmann, though, still clinging on to the blue French McLaren. Says a lot about Porsche now. Let's have a look at the order then. Olafsson leading, second is Michel Ferte, third John Nielsen there in the West car, fourth, really pushing him. Mancini there, then Christophe Bouchou right behind, still clinging on to these cars fighting for third place, and behind them Pierre-Henri Raffanel. Oh, disaster for Ferte, the second place car bursts its gearbox and it is finished for the weekend. Moments later, the Kramer Repsol Porsche of Prince Alfonso and Thomas Saldana, troubled all weekend, is out with engine failure. Not only them, another casualty in the Laufer Porsche, Rupert Keegan and Henri Pescarolo, another blown engine as this hard circuit continues to take its toll on the GT field. The Ducati McLaren is one of the first to make a routine pit stop, Griard handing over to the Frenchman Fabien Giroir. A slick stop quickly gets their car back into the race, and as others make their stops, they will gradually take the lead. Saw this car running in the front at Harama, dropping back with brake problems eventually. Instantly quick out of the box, and of course two top-class French drivers, Giroir, former DTM man, and Briard, an IndyCar driver as well as formerly in Formula One. .630 horsepower on tap in this BMW V12, sitting in the back of the cars. Other pit stops now come thick and fast. Wes McLaren stops. John Nielsen handing over to Thomas Bischer, the German banker who owns the car. A great double act this, as we've seen on past Eurosport programs. And at the same time, Ray Bellum arrives to hand over to Maurizio Sala, both cars in the pits at the same time. So it's a race between Gulf, McLaren and Wes McLaren to get out. In fact, they leave the pits together now, 4th and 5th positions behind Ferrari, Porsche and the Ducati McLaren. Behind them, the Harrods McLaren is now poised to take the lead after Wallace had to make an early unscheduled stop for flat-spotted tyres. They come into the pits. This car is one of many today that have to change brake pads, some of them even 2 times, and brakes now start to play a big role. Everyone has to make time-costing changes, but Gulf is going to try and go the distance without. So the Labre Porsche now into 2nd place. Jarier radioing to the pits, he has brake problems and brakeless. He goes off into the gravel. As we see Almo Capelli and Robin Donovan push the pole position GT2 Augusta Corvette into 2nd in the category. But where's Jarier? There's the smoke. And there's the car. Well, Jarier has to get the car out of the gravel and back to the pits. The Ducati McLaren now leading, but Gulf, as you can see, is closing very fast. Jarier makes it back to the pits with considerable damage underneath, but any chance of victory and of keeping their championship lead evaporates. And now Justin Bell, under the eyes of his father Derek, has his brief moment of glory, putting the Harrods car into the lead for 5 laps of the race, but of course they're out of sequence with the rest, and when they make their next stop they fall down. Porsche's efforts are wasted. With Wallach now on board, it breaks the drive shaft. It is out for good, its first non-finish in 10 races. So Stefan Obendorfer and Detlef Huben here move into 2nd place in GT2 in the Mulbauer Porsche, just ahead of the Eurosport camera car. Leading GT2 is Calderari and Breiner, heading for their 3rd BPR win this year, and 6th overall. What a fine performance. The Harrods car heading for 5th place in this very hard car braking race. It's the 2nd race for the Moody Fayed Harrods team, run by Dave Price Racing. And the 2nd Gulf McLaren, the number 16 car, which has changed from its number 3 for better luck of Raffanel and Owen-Jones, takes a long-awaited finish. Oh, but 3rd should have been Olafson's, delayed by a brake change, but it all ends in a cloud of steam.
Broke in the heating system, and we are very depressed because of that, but I think we showed the car has a really good potential, and next time probably is our race, I'm sure.
So Wes McLaren goes east for 3rd place with Nielsen and Bischer. Oh, big moment for Nielsen, trying even with just 2 laps to go in this race, but really not able to close that gap on the Ducati car ahead. Here it is, heading for 2nd place, a great performance, bettering its debut 5th at Harama with what is going to be a podium finish. So winning for the 4th time after the no brake change strategies worked, Ray Bellum and Maurizio Sala winning on their new 18-inch Michelin tyres. They take the checkered flag. Ray Bellum, Maurizio Sala, your 4th win. That was a hard one.
Yeah, I have to say that Maurizio won that. That is the finest endurance drive I've seen in years. He matched everyone else's pace and he drove impeccably for 2 hours. It was a very, very polished performance. I just started it, he won it.
Big compliment, Maurizio.
Yeah, I think I have to thank Ray because we choose not change brake pads. And when I got in the car, the brake was perfect. We didn't have anywhere, the tire was good, and he kept the car good for me to finish the race in a very good position.
Well, a great win then, 4 out of 5 for Sala and Bellum. As we see the results coming up, second going to the Ducati car, but Nielsen and Bish are looking forward to bigger Goodyear tyres for the next race at Donington. We're going to be there. Join us at Donington for round 6 of the Karcher Global Endurance GT.